objective of the session we have organized with the Eurasia Group to help us understand, in this case, what is the impact of this new risk environment on businesses in Europe.
So there are three risks I would point to: Greece, the UK and Russia-Ukraine. With Greece, I think the risk of euro exit remains fairly significant. We think in the order of 30% or so. We have a Syriza administration that has been elected with a mandate to essentially overturn the German status quo of austerity and reforms for fiscal financing. And as long as that is the case, the Eurogroup and Germany in particular will not wish to release funding that Greece needs in order to meet repayments to the ECB in July and August. I think a second risk that is also significant is a potential UK exit from the European Union. We had elections recently in the UK. They delivered a Conservative majority. British Prime Minister David Cameron has committed the country to a referendum on the UK's membership of Europe. That will be subject to a vote in 2017. There is a high chance we get the wrong answer in that context because of the structural degree of Euroscepticism in the UK, plus the fact that Cameron, who is committed to renegotiate the UK's membership terms with Europe, will likely fail in that negotiation. The third risk I'd talk about is Russia-Ukraine. We've seen a large amount of Russian intervention in Ukraine over the course of the last 2 years. They're looking to achieve three things: a substantial degree of federalization in Ukraine that essentially keeps the central government weak and unstable, prevents it moving towards Europe. I think they're also looking to prevent Ukraine joining NATO. They want to maintain a Russian sphere of influence in that part of the world. Ukraine is critical, I think, in that from that perspective. And then also they have a lot of concerns about the free trade agreement between the Europeans and the Ukrainians. These things mean Russia, I think, will continue to promulgate what we call its invasion from within strategy. Lots of separatists turning up, keeping Ukraine and the central government weak and unstable. In that context, I think we see sanctions increase over the course of this year. That, of course, creates headwinds for Europe as well as the Ukrainian economy.
There is a consensus out there among investors and definitely from the creditor side that Greece is somehow treated apart, like they have somehow decoupled from the rest of the periphery. No? This is due to a number of reasons. There is an improvement in the growth outlook in the other peripheral countries. There is definitely a better situation in the financial sector. And also there is a number of if you want, sovereign backstops and European new institutions that will probably help to constrain and control and limit the potential damage of a Grexit. However, looking at it from a political risk angle, we think that those mechanisms, those sovereign backstops, may not be sufficient to contain that contagion. We have QE, but QE is limited in size and in design, and it's not designed to be a tool to respond to crisis. We have a rescue fund, the ESM, the European Stability Mechanism, but the politics in the southern periphery are not particularly good to implement now another memorandum of understanding and another plan of deep austerity and reforms, obviously ahead of elections in Spain and Portugal, for instance. Neither for Italy it would be possible. Then there is the OMT, which is the ECB's, say, bazooka, to respond to potential contagion, but also for the OMT you need the implementation of a program, of an ESM program, which, as we just argued, it would be very difficult politically to implement. No? Then there is the final piece of the story, which would be that the rest of the Eurozone would decide, in case of Brexit, to go ahead with a big leap forward on fiscal integration, say on some mutualization of debts, etc. But also that would be massively constrained by politics, because it would require a treaty change and a number of complications, and it would have to be approved in national parliaments, etc. And that would complicate very much the implementation of that fiscal step forward.